How are you doing, guys? The plan for today's episode is to create some new Z levels. So this is more or less the outline of the content that I will be adding today, or at least I'll be trying to add some of this stuff and see how it works. And I'll be using my map generation framework, which I also wanted to show off because it's really cool and allows you to create content by basically modding or using a script, so you don't have to recompile or anything, and it's really quick and it's really awesome, and it's something that I would suggest modders of KeeperRL to try. So when you're modding KeeperRL, there's this file called random layouts, and this one has a bunch of code, or well, not actually code, let's say script, that generates different map content in the game. Okay, so what do we have here? There's this new type of Z level that I added a few weeks ago to the game that has basically it consists of a few independent features that are placed randomly on the level, and they are connected by corridors. So the idea is to add some content, is to make it seem that there is stuff on the Z level going on, some corridors, some creatures moving around. So not just like one room with an enemy or something like that, or a bunch of unconnected features, but you know, something that seems like it's alive a little bit. And the nice thing about that is that I can add add new stuff to it, and they will be randomly placed on the level. I think right now the game chooses about, I think, 3. No, it actually chooses two of a bunch of different features that are available. So last time I already added like this foggy area that spawns ghosts. I've added a little room that has some columns, and I think it has some bats in it. I added a room with gargoyles that will attack you. I added a forgotten prison with some skeletons in it, some little dungeon, a bunch of ants and some chests, and this is, I'm not sure what this is, kind of a flooded room or something. So it already has some features that it's placing. So the first thing that I'm gonna try doing today is add some new features that you can see on this list. And regarding my map generation framework that I was just talking about, you can easily test these levels without having to actually run the game or recompile or anything. So it's pretty easy and pretty fast. So I will do that right now and to show you what I'll be actually working on. So let's try to generate a cave. Okay. No, it's a little big. Maybe make it smaller. Okay, so there are actually a few more variants of Z levels that I added. So one of them is just these caverns. It doesn't have any actual content besides, you know, little caverns and corridors and stuff. And this little yellow patch here is where the actual enemy for that Z level is placed. So let's try again. Okay, and this is the type of Z level that I was talking about before. So it places our enemy here. It placed a little room with some gargoyle traps here. Placed some bats here and some random rooms here. So if you dig down and you stumble upon this corridor, and then you can kind of have a look around. So I think it's a nice Z level to to dig into and interact with a little bit, as opposed to just a fully filled Z level or just a single enemy somewhere in the room. So then what I'm going to do now is these things that I listed here is something that could be, added, like I call these mini features or rooms or something. And the other stuff would serve as a standalone Z level, just a huge maze or a huge room in the middle or something like that, or caverns like this, but maybe with water or partly flooded or something. And the giant spider is something that Soft Monster suggested, but I'm not exactly sure what that could look like in terms of, the layout. The A characters, I think, I'm not sure where you saw them, but they could be ants, because they will, yeah, here. Ants are something that you can stumble upon when you dig down. So let's take a look at this map generation script. If you've modded Keeper a little bit before, then this is the basic layout is kind of familiar, because it consists of keys and values. So these are the Z level this, Z level that, a bunch of elements here. These are macros, so they don't actually by themselves, they don't do anything, but you can call them and they will kind of replace the text here. So we have a bunch of things here, and it's not only Z levels, because it has also, I don't know, blacksmith and stuff that's placed in general somewhere on various maps. Right now, Keeper has two map generation systems. The old one is compiled. It's kind of hard coded, and maybe I would say maybe 50% of the game still uses it. And the new system it's all here. It's all basically in this huge file. So our Z-level cave, this is a bunch of steps that are performed on the Z-level. So in the beginning, it's just empty. And the first thing it will do, it will choose between Z-level base made of water and Z-level base made of lava. So let's take a look at what Z-level base looks like. So Z-level base in turn will randomly choose between Z-level with these mini features and Z-level with caverns. So this is what you saw before. So we have, it kind of alternates between caverns and mini features. So we're interested in mini features right now. And this is what it is doing. So Z-level mostly full, it's just adding some small legs or something, not really anything interesting. Then this one would creates kind of a margin whose width is 5 tiles, so we don't get too close to the edge of the map. And then it would place randomly somewhere on the map it would choose two of these, I don't know, 8 or so features, and these are their sizes. So let's say it chooses this one and I don't know, this one. So it would place 12 by 12 mini ghost spawner somewhere, and then it would place 7x7 mini prison. And here it says how many of them it would place. And this is the predicate, like where it would be placed. So usually we want to, I assume that the level is mostly filled with hard rock. So that's what it would place them on. We don't want to place them like in the middle of a lake or something. But yeah, depending on what you're trying to achieve, you can use different predicates. And also it will this generator here, it will make sure that they don't overlap, right? Because yeah, that would be, we don't want that to happen. So the plan now is, as I said, to add some mini features. So let's see maybe what would be the easiest, so we can get our hands dirty. Maybe this one. So the idea here is to create some kind of small story that there is a workshop, and presumably there were some gnomes working there on some automatons, and they were attacked. And now the automatons are laying around broken, and maybe we can place some gnome skeletons around there too. Let's call it like this. So what I'm doing here is actually quite simple. The way it works is when the engine sees something like this, it would basically replace this text with whatever I wrote here before the end keyword. So it's just text replacement. It doesn't actually involve like any functions or anything. Really simple the way it works. So let's start with clearing the thing out with floor. And maybe we will place not sure how this one is working. Oh, okay. So I'll place a little workshop in the middle, maybe 2 by 2. So right now, when you're generating these levels, this framework, all it does is it places these tokens on the map. And then after that, the game also has to interpret them. So I have this file called layout mapping. And this one actually tells the game what to do with these tokens. So it's kind of a two-step system. Let's see if I already have any workshop. Oh, okay. All right, so this should place a workshop. And then another thing, this feature here where I can generate these levels in the command line also need to be told how to draw them, because it's kind of not even connected to the game really. It's just drawing a bunch of stuff on the screen. So there's this file called glyphs. So if you're adding, for example, new furniture to your random maps, then this is a good start. This is like the basic thing you need to do is decide on some kind of token. here define what this token would actually do in the game. Some tokens don't do anything, they're just kind of temporary while you're working on the level, and then they are discarded. So not every token has to be, visible once the level is generated. So the ones that you want to actually do something have to be placed here, and you can place furniture, you can place a hostile creature, you can erase furniture, you can, I don't know, just add some flags for some later stages of level generation. If you decide, if you want to try this out and you run into any trouble, you can always let me know and I'll be happy to explain this stuff. As far as I know, no modder has really used this a lot yet, so I'll be happy to, I'll be happy if you guys are convinced to actually try doing this, because it's really interesting. You can create really original stuff by working with the scripts. Okay, so let's add this workshop. So we placed a workshop, we placed, cleared out the room. And now maybe for the sake of testing this, maybe I will do this. I need to remove the other things, so because otherwise I would have to make a lot of runs before the actual workshop is generated. So now it will always generate a workshop. Let's see if it's actually working. Okay, something else that I want to do is... Oh, okay. I can just generate just the mini features without going through the whole level and stuff. Okay. So it placed the workshop. Maybe I'll make it 8 by 8 so it's even. Yeah, all right. So this is our workshop. So now maybe I will add some dead gnomes. How can we do that? I think there should be some command for placing, okay, wizard corpse. I can place generic corpses, but I want to add an actual corpse of a gnome, because it's basically to tell a story, and I think it's quite important. Just, a little touch. A little detail that I think players find interesting. Okay, so this is actually a bit complicated because you can't just place any item. You actually have to create an item list. I'm wondering if I should add a new command to just directly place an item, because if you want to just place one item, then creating these lists is kind of a hassle. But maybe not. Maybe let's do it. It's not a big deal. I'll just duplicate this wizard corpse thing here. Nice thing is I can add some other items and they will be kind of placed on top of the corpse. So you can, you can not only create a corpse, but maybe add a weapon or equipment or something like that. Oh, we have 7 people watching, so better than last time. I'm happy that you guys are here. I hope that this is all interesting for you. And I don't know, if you have better ideas, if it's boring, or if you have ideas for the next episode, then just let me know. I'll be really happy to hear some feedback. So what do you think? What should the core, if we're already doing this item list, then maybe the gnome can actually have some items on them. What do you think? All right. Rarasek says iron armor, boots and helm. So I think it's called chain armor. Two potions of combustion. Okay, that's interesting. I forgot even that something like that exists. Potion of freezing. Okay, chain armor. I don't know if gnomes actually should wear any armor. They're kind of tinkerers, you know. Maybe leather armor. And then 2 potions of combustion. Yeah, I want to add some automaton parts as well. That's going to be separate from the corpses. So I assume that this would be probability, so maybe 1/3. Not sure what this one is. This one actually does. Multi-items. It's been a while since I was last doing this, but hopefully it will work, and let's just try it out. I actually need to place the corpses around here, so maybe place 2 corpses. One by one. Okay, I can place between. I can define the range of number of these corpses, so it can be between, I don't know, 2 and 5. On. So we don't want to place them on the actual workshop, so not on workshop. Let's see if to generate. Okay, so we have the corpses generated. Now some automaton parts. some legs, arms, I don't know, automaton, drill, wood. What else do automatons have? Humanoid head. And I'm going to scatter a few of these in the workshop so I can this is how you place a few different things in the place generator. Automaton parts. I see there are some new ideas. I'm gonna go through them once I just add these automaton parts. Just give me a second. The thing is, I want to do this like as kind of a flavor thing. So I'm not going to add like high value stuff really, to be honest, because one reason is that it's going to be generated quite often. So you know, I just want to add some interesting bits here and there, not anything too important to the game. Okay, so this is our workshop. Some gnome skeletons, automaton parts, and I think that maybe now I could try to see how it looks like in the game. So this is just testing the level generation part, but I also need to test Okay, I need to recompile, just like last time. We had to wait a lot of time for recompilation. I think I still have the release build from yesterday, and it doesn't have some development options that I like to use. So let me just recompile quickly, and maybe in the meantime we can go through all the other stuff that I wanted to add today. So we have this. There are another couple of of a similar thing. One is a morgue, one is a forge with dead dwarfs. So I can add these ones pretty easily. And I think this is something that I really want to add, and I've wanted to add it for a long time. And it's something that could exist not even outside of the levels, like at some enemies and stuff. Like, I don't know, you conquer a castle, and there's a bunch of, I don't know, some high-level creatures that are allied with you somewhere in the prison, and you free them and you get these creatures. So kind of a prize, and also adds a lot of nice flavor. Something, actually, if I could go even further and make the enemies try to kidnap your creatures and then imprison them, but that's actually a bit more work. This one is this one shouldn't be too hard. So I'll start with this. Maybe this one could be part of a bigger Z level somewhere deeper down. This one is actually could be pretty funny if there was a shop on a Z level. Kind of goes back to the roots of roguelikes. Any preferences of on what I should try next? Well, actually, there is already a prison. Let me show it to you. I don't know, something's not working. I'll just wait for it to compile. I already made a little prison mini feature, but it only consists of some skeleton inside. So creating an actual live creature shouldn't be too hard, because there is already code in the game that makes allies join you, like when you finish the Sokoban level. And maybe the only thing that I would have to add is for them to wait until you break into the prison, so like they don't join you whilst they're still in the prison. Oh, all right. Maybe I could make it a bit smaller. Pair of wooden arms. I think that the corpse should be at the bottom here. So the first thing that you see is corpse. So let's see if making this 6x6 would work. Oh, here's the prison. So there are some broken prison bars and stuff. Yeah, this is gonna work. Yeah, I could make the question marks of different colors, but it's kind of outside of scope. Feel free to add it to GitHub or somewhere. I would have to think about it, but it's definitely a nice idea. But you know, maybe a generic question mark where you don't know what to expect is also good. So it needs some. I would need to think about it. So we have this broken prison. First thing I want to do is I want to actually make the prison bars intact. And then I'm going to place a prison door. So this command here is going to place a door on the bars somewhere randomly on the bars, and then remove the bars. So this should work nicely. Then I need to define what this thing means. Now, this one here is placing some corpses, but instead I want to add an actual creature. So let me think. First of all, I would have to decide what kind of creatures would be there. I was thinking maybe... Yeah, that's a good question. What do you think, guys? I don't want to add like super strong creatures, but also not something that's kind of completely useless. And another problem is that this would probably have to work both for the evil and lesser evil factions, so maybe not anything specific to any keeper. I cannot also add something specific. Like I was wondering if I should maybe add make the legendary humanoids and legendary beasts of the Dark Wizard Keeper to be inside one of those prisons instead of being born from a succubus. But yeah, so definitely I can make a higher price in one of these prisons. But maybe let's start with something just kind of, you know, minor and generic. Just a little bit of flavor. Yeah, maybe elves would be cool, because whatever dwells deep down inside these dungeons would probably be happy to imprison an elf. Let's start with Elven Archer. The no-dig token means that there won't be a corridor passing through that tile, because, you know, there are also corridors generated on these levels. So this one, when I start with this one, it as you can see, it doesn't have any corridors. But then when I actually use them, like in a cave, then you can see I have this thing called connector, and this one will connect any tiles that can be entered, like any floor tiles. It would make sure that they are, you know, all connected by corridors. Okay, so how to place a creature, hostile creature. So we don't want them to be hostile. We want them to be allied, but how do you know how to know of what tribe is the player's faction? You need to see how the Sokoban prize is made. Okay, so it's hard-coded to Dark Keeper. Okay, let's start with making them allied to the Dark Keeper, and then later on I'll try to figure out how to make it work with the less evil factions. So now actually there's a moment where I have to write some code, some actual C++ code. could also create a new tribe for these types of allies that's always friendly and that they always want to join you. So maybe that's something to consider. That would make it easier to write these Z-level scripts, because you don't need to know in advance if you're creating it for the evil keeper or for the good keeper. So that's probably what I would do, but I think I would do it later, because we are focusing on level design today. I think it would be best if there was a big variety of what kind of creatures you could find in these prisons, because it would I know some people dig down really lots of Z levels, and this prison feature is going to pop up quite a lot, so it would be kind of boring if they all contained the same creature. Okay, now I need to recompile again. Maybe after I'm finished with the prison, maybe I'll try to do this one, because I think it's going to make pretty cool Z levels in terms of interaction and gameplay, because you will have to build some bridges if you want to actually create some dungeons there, and it will be kind of interesting in terms of gameplay. Sorry, my dog is drinking. Alright, dog finished drinking. He's really loud. Oh, now he's playing with a toy. Just a second. You know how dogs are, they always want to interrupt your live stream. He's a Springer Spaniel. His name is Sernik, which means cheesecake in Polish. Okay, finished compilation. Now can we see this elven archer? Okay. So here we got the prison, we got prison door, we have the archer. So now I will generate a level in the game, and then I will try to make sure that the ally actually joins you only when you destroy the prison, right? Oh, actually 3 archers. That's interesting. And I would probably have to strip them of their equipment, because it doesn't make sense for them to have any equipment while they are in prison. So let's dig into there. Oh, they actually got out of the prison. All right, because they don't have the, I guess, the prisoner status, so they can actually just walk out. I need to see how to prevent that. Oh, actually, okay. So there isn't actually any code that prevents prisoners from leaving the prison, because, as you know, in the game they can all, like if you build a prison, they can come and go as they please. So it's more of a, again, flavor thing. So this is something, you know what? I actually need to create another type of prison door that you can't walk through. So I think this should work. Let's try again. Okay, now the archer decided to free himself. He's trying to. Oh, okay. So he already joined our forces. Huh. Interesting. It's probably because I have the whole map visible. So the game decided, okay, we see the archer. You can join our forces. So that's probably something that I need to work on now. We're going to find the piece of code where that decides that an ally need to join us. I'm not sure what kind of condition they have. They should. I should add. So if they are not imprisoned, which means they have access to. It's not easy because this happens. This check is going to be run a lot, so I don't want it to be too slow. Now the thing is, it should join when you destroy the bars, right? So visibility is not a good condition. Actually, that's how it works right now with visibility. But that would mean that if you merely just walk up there, up to the bars, then that creature will join you and they will actually break out of the prison themselves. I could make them tied up, but I was wondering if maybe something easier. Okay, let's do it like this. I'm going to go through the visible friends from of the ally, because that should be a pretty short list, assuming that they are closed somewhere in a prison. Well, the thing is, you don't have to destroy the door. You could destroy the bars, or you could dig into the dungeon, like from the side or something. So I want to make it kind of foolproof. But this thing is going to work pretty well, I think. So we look through all visible creatures that the ally can see. If this is one of our creatures, and they can walk there. So this check is pretty fast. It's like a connectivity check. So this is what's gonna check if you've destroyed the bars. Okay, here's the elf. He hasn't joined us yet, so that's a good sign. I'm going to save the game just in case, so I don't have to dig down 1,000 times again. Okay, hasn't joined yet. I should probably give him the prisoner trait that he would lose when we free him, but that can be added later. Oh, okay, I'm not able to destroy this. Okay, so he joined our forces. So that part is working fine. Now let's make the bars destroyable. I think I have to make the furniture hostile, because the game doesn't let you destroy your own furniture like that. So I'm afraid I'll have to run it again. And I should also probably think about stripping the elf from his equipment. I'm going to rename this to just allied prisoner in order to be more specific, because there's going to be some other logic behind it. For example, it's going to, yeah, as I said, it's going to strip the creature from their equipment and give them the prisoner status. There is a function somewhere that strips the equipment, but like I don't want to repeat myself and add a new function that does the same thing. I think it's somewhere here. Oh. All right, found it. Let's try it out. Hopefully now everything will work out of the box. So it's taken me a bit longer than I thought. I thought we could do at least a few of these items, but it seems like I got stuck on the prison for quite a bit. Oh no, I already did automaton. Okay, so that's not so bad. I think this one would be also quite interesting. Because it kind of offers you some interaction. Makes you want to go there and see what's going on, but at the same time it's not like any major gameplay thing. Just a nice little interaction with a dungeon feature. So I'm working on my laptop right now because I wanted to use the camera so you can see me. But maybe for the next time I can order some cheap webcam and connect it to my desktop, and then yeah, then the compilation should be about, I don't know, 4 or 5 times faster. So that's certainly would make the live stream easier to watch, as I don't need to recompile, as recompilation would be much faster. Okay, so we have our archers. They are prisoners, they don't have equipment. And now I will just check it from the beginning to the end, just to make sure it's working. Okay, I can destroy the bars. Great. And they joined our team. Awesome, so this is working. Now to make this feature complete, I will have to somehow add a lot more possible creatures here. So I'm wondering what's the best way to do that. Like, I don't want to hard code a list right here because oh yeah, and the other thing is that this will also right now work only with the dark keeper. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Add function to create a creature list. Yeah. But I don't have a file where like you have to define creature lists in place. I don't have a separate file with creature lists like it is with items. But I'm wondering if maybe I could add a flag in the creature definitions where a creature could be set as a possible prisoner. And then wherever you place a prison, you can just set it to, you know, like a generic prisoner, and the game will figure out what are the possible creatures that can be put there. Okay, let's leave this because this is kind of an implementation detail that I don't want to bore you with. Let's see the changes. I always look through the diffs to make sure that I don't leave some trash behind or I don't actually accidentally delete some code. Yeah, like for example, I set it to 3 instead of 2, so I'm going to revert that. Make sure I haven't deleted any of these features from here. Oh, I also removed the caverns. All right, this is committed. So maybe for something that should be a bit easier, I'll try doing flooded caverns. So this is what caverns look like before they are connected. So I think I will just replace these with water. Maybe make them a bit smaller. Okay, so right now we will have 1/3 chance of getting the mini features, 1/3 of normal caverns, 1/3 of water caverns. Let's see what they look like generated. What do you think? I think this is pretty cool. Oh, this one is... What do you think about this one? And then maybe I could... So you say to add some floors as well. You know what? I'll try to stick. I will stick to this first, and then when I test it out in some playthroughs, then I will see if maybe I will add some floor or something. So originally we had 45 as the constant. And I'm going to make this as 55. Okay, so this one was quite a bit easier than the last one. And maybe for something different, I was wondering about adding prisons to other enemies. So maybe, what do you think? What should we do now? Should I add a prison to other enemies, like, I don't know, the knights or something? So the knights have an extra enemy below them, which is the Minotaur. And maybe I could add something there. But I'm wondering what kind of monster I could place in the Minotaur cave. Yeah, you know what? This is pretty similar to adding prisoner to the Z level. So maybe I think the throne would be pretty cool. I think I'm going to add the throne now. So for a throne, I think it's going to have like a long room with some columns and the throne at the end. It's kind of similar to the demon's castle. I think this part here is the room with the columns. So I guess this would be the throne room. It's probably not working the way I wanted. Now let's place the columns in the middle. But if it's supposed to have columns on the side, then it needs to be at least what, 6 tiles wide. Okay, looking a bit better now. Except it generated right next to the workshop, which is, it doesn't look good. Let's try again. Okay. But it needs the throne right in the middle, right? So it needs to be at least 7 tiles wide. And we're going to place the throne maybe right here. It would be also nice if the entry was from the other side. So I'm going to have to use the no dig token to enforce that. So I've created a new throne furniture that summons a few goblin warriors. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Nothing too fancy, just, you know, a little touch. Okay, so here's the throne. Now, as you can see, it's kind of digging into that area from all sides. So I need to do what I did with prison. Vampire Lord. I don't know if there's still a Vampire Lord in the game. So this one places the no dig attribute all around it. And now I think I need to remove it from the bottom. Last time I've had a little bit of trouble with that code. Yeah. No, actually it worked nice. It goes in here and then goes out here. Maybe I could remove it just from this tile, so the entry to this area would always be like from the middle. Oh, look, it's working nicely. Let's give it a few runs. Working great. I'll see. Here you can see how it actually goes around it to make sure that it doesn't dig any of these tiles. Now maybe let's test our throne. Oh no! And I'm dead. All right. So this is working nicely. So at this point I have, oops. Let's see, 3, 6. So there are 10 different features that can be placed. So I think it means that there will be quite a bit of variability when it comes to seeing this stuff. So hopefully you won't be seeing the same features over and over again. But there's still quite a few on my list, so I'll probably keep adding them. So let's commit this change. Oh, I think I removed the broken prison by accident. See, that's why this is always good to go through all your changes. All right, still working. And I think we will finish with that today because it's been quite a long stream so far. And one last thing I wanted to say, that I wanted to advertise this whole procedural map scripting. This is obviously great if you want to mod KeeperRL, and it gives you a lot of flexibility, and you can really add all sorts of crazy stuff with it. But also, if for example you are working on your own game, then it's possible to use it in other projects, or like whatever you're working on, and you need some random levels. There is an online editor that you can use to, play around with create some levels. And this tool, it's like if you use the standalone tool to generate these levels, then an optional output format is kind of generates a bunch of levels for you, like, I don't know, thousands of levels according to your specification. And the easiest way to use it in your project would be just to place them in a file and read them in, and having 1,000 levels pre-generated is probably as good as generating them on the fly. And if you want to really generate them on the fly and you're coding in C++, then also you could possibly use this as a library. And of course, there's pretty decent documentation for this, at least as far as comes to documentation that I write. So there's a link in the description on YouTube if you wanna check this out, and I really encourage you to use the generator either if you're modding KeeperRL or if you're doing some of your own projects. So I think this will be it for today. So I'm as last time, I'm eager to hear your comments on how it went. If you have I don't know, if you didn't like something, if something was boring, or also if there are any ideas on what you would like to see next time, then please let me know on Discord or anywhere else you can get in touch. And see you next time in a couple of weeks. I don't know exactly when, but I think it's gonna be pretty soon. All right, thank you.